Peace and blessings. This is Nubia I, the raw food goddess, the womb priestess, and the holistic practitioner. And today I'm coming to you with more information about how I am or became, or how you can become a raw foodist or a living foodist or a sun-fired foodist, which I totally and definitely prefer, but I will probably just say raw foodist so that it'll make it simpler for everybody to know that I'm referring to the uncooking of food, so, or the cooking twice of food, because as Dr. Iris Latam says, the food is already perfectly cooked by Mother Nature. The nature already cooked the apple, the pear, the everything, the carrots. So we want to say living foods or sun-fired foods. I've been getting a lot of questions, particularly asking me something very similar, which is what do I eat each morning? And the reason that I'm not going to give you that answer right quite yet is because what I used to eat when I first started being raw and what I eat now is a lot different. Just learning more, having more information, body craving different things, body wanting less. But I know that there's so many people out there right now who really want to be, or at least add more raw foods to their lives and don't know how. And a lot of people are either still eating some meat or are vegan vegetarians, but are really eating more starches than vegetables. And I really like how Supernova, it's Queen Afua's son, and Queen Afua, for those who don't know, is a holistic practitioner out of Brooklyn, New York. Her son said, actually in her book Heal Thyself, that most people that call themselves vegetarians that he see are really what he calls starchitarians, because according to him and according to most people, I'm sure this makes sense, a vegetarian is a person who eats mostly vegetables. So if you're or the majority of vegetables. So, and I find even myself, when I first became a vegetarian, it had to have been over 15 years ago, I too was a starchitarian. So, and been a starchitarian throughout the 15 years of vegetarianism. And so I know a lot of us are kind of maybe struggling with the starch, uses of starch, and we want to stop. We know it's not great for our bodies. It's hard for the body to digest. It clogs up the colon. It turns things into sugar. And if you're already eating a lot of sugar-filled foods, too much for the body. So we want to stay away from, or get away from, or transition away from starches. So how do I do that as a living foodist? Well, and I'm not going to tell you give up the starches and just have a bunch of vegetables. You're going to be fine. I think that's going to be a little difficult, and we want to transition and be slowly, go into kind of slowly. So let me tell you what I would suggest. I would suggest that you make it a point to yourself, a promise to yourself, if you will, that you will eat a salad a day. And let me tell you, that salad can include like croutons and cheese. No, we don't want that. We want it to include fruits, whether those are fruit vegetables or vegetable fruits, which are like cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados, and then some lettuce. Now, let me just say something about lettuce that Queen Afua talks about a lot, and many other people that know that iceberg lettuce does not have a significant amount of nutritional value. And so if you're eating a lot of iceberg lettuce and thinking that that's your salad and you're getting enough, you probably want to step it up a bit. So lettuce that I recommend that you can eat when you're having your green salad a day, and this is, it doesn't matter if you're having, regardless if you're having your starches, continue to have your starches if that's what you need to do. Let me just say, I'm not promoting starch. I'm saying we're human, and it's going to take us a while to get over our addictions. I believe that starch is a cry out for something more. So when we're stuffing ourselves with starches, particularly in the wintertime or other times, we say, oh, it's to help us keep warm. I think that warmth that we're talking about or we're seeking is on an emotional level as well. I think we eat a lot of starch. We're not feeling loved. We're not feeling like we're being held. Or we're not feeling like we're being supported. So we're looking for that love and that intimacy, and we kind of create that with starch, if that's possible, because it's really not. What we really do is creating tumors in our wombs and prostates in our and our male wombs, if you will. And so we want to alleviate the starch from our systems, but it takes time. So I recommend that you have a salad a day. Yes, a salad a day. So again, we're not going to include salmon and cheese and croutons. We're going to include romaine lettuce and tomatoes and carrots, shredded carrots, if you will. That's a starch, and that is a starch, I will admit, but it's a definite better starch. And actually, the best way to have carrot is in a fresh pressed juice, in a juice extractor. Carrot, beet juice, wonderful starch. Don't want to have that first thing in the morning, but definitely a good starch. But I wanted to tell you about a transitional starch, a live starch that actually I really received this recipe from Queen Afua's recent book called The Seven Kitchens of Consciousness. Seven Kitchens of Consciousness, yes. And she talks about how to have live starches, which means not cooked. And but she definitely warns against having it more than 3 times a week. If you can have it once or twice, that'll be even better. But again, we're transitioning, so if you have it more than 3 times, we will understand, okay? But 3 times is the goal, no more, but definitely less. And she uses 3 kinds of wheats that she mentioned: tabbouleh, couscous, and bulgur wheat. I really like the couscous. And the couscous, if you ever had couscous cooked and you was like, oh, I didn't like it, you will love it live. That's just how I feel. It's really delicious. And basically you take a cup or 2, depending on how much you and your family will eat, and you pour it into a bowl of some sort of Tupperware, if you will, and you cover it with water, a little more than covering it. You put a lid on it and you let it sit there for 2 to 5 minutes, I find. If it's, go back to it. If it's hard, you add just a little bit of more water, and by that time you'll go back to it and it'll be soft. And then you chop up some vegetables. You can do a nice kale salad, add some kale to that with a little bit of sage, rosemary, spike, some red onions. Mix that together. That is an awesome salad. And you want to do your starches in the afternoon, preferably when the sun is at its highest point, so sometime between 12 and 2. And then at night, if you can, you want to have another green salad without the starch. And maybe if you're still eating cooked food, you can have some steamed vegetables with the salad. So the idea is that if you eat more raw salads, you will actually lose the cravings for food. And at the same time, combining it with the starch or the protein, but never combine the starch and the protein together, you are giving your body a chance to clean itself out and to digest. And so, yeah, I really wanted to talk about a transitional diet as opposed to go raw, do it tomorrow, and this is how. The other thing is be kind and patient with yourself. So we're trying something new. So run out today and get some couscous or bulgur wheat or tabbouleh. They basically all the same with the water, and let it soak naturally. And get you some kale, and then also have you a raw salad, just salad by itself, in addition to whatever you're eating now. I have a motto that that's not something that I don't want to take away everything, but I want you to add. Because a vegetarian is a person who eats lots of vegetables. And this is how we all get our raw vegetables in. And I also want to tell you about how to make a few raw salad dressings too that are absolutely delicious. If you have a blender, you set. If you have a juicer, this is when you want to have your beet carrot juice. You can have that in the evening, not too late, not when the sun goes down, please, before the sun goes down. And I'm running out of time, so I'm going to come back to you with more information about transitional diets, if you will. Diet is such a not a great word, but so I'm coming back to you. So this is Nubia I, the raw food goddess, the womb priestess, and a holistic practitioner, and I'm sending love and peace and blessings to all. Thank you.